sometimes the best way to help yourself is to help others, and put yourself out there.
Give networking a definition in your own words.
I think my definition of networking is making yourself visible to the people that matter, to show that you are a useful person to know. And you're like, this guy's stealing my clients. I'm like, dude, he's playing the game. You're hating the game. He's playing the game. It's a game. Networking is a game. It's a game. There's no halftime. There's no you're gonna get a red card for how you show up. So learn from your mistakes. I mean, one of the talks that I give is called "The Opposite of Networking is Not Working," where I talk about
Alrighty, so John Watson. That's a very English name, but if I'm not mistaken, you're Afrikaans, right?
I'm a very English person. I went to a very Afrikaans primary school, and I'm married to a very Afrikaans wife. So I am pretty much fully bilingual. So
Okay.
100% English and 100% Afrikaans.
Can you see that? Like I assume, John, because we go back not too far, but I feel our relationship it's gonna get deeper after this conversation, I believe, because this is all about professional pillar talk. Let's get naked quickly. Just before this, I know you were putting on your radio voice. You put on that radio voice, so just continue with that radio voice, John. But the fact that I would love to learn a little bit more about you, and it'll lay up our conversation where I fully understand that you've pivoted your whole life. You were you were in financial, I think you went into a little bit of property, and now you call yourself the connector, right? But before all of that, I would love to know, who is John? Like, color that picture in so that I can fully understand, okay, this is John Watson.
Wow. I am John. I am a Christian husband and father, happily married to my wife, Judy. We've been together for 16 years, married for 15 years, got 2 kids, 11 and 9, live here in Cape Town, which is my adopted home after being born in Port Elizabeth and moving via Gauteng, Limpopo province, back to Cape Town, back to Pretoria, and officially back to Cape Town. So I have traveled the country in my previous lives. I went to a multitude of different schools and really enjoyed my upbringing. And now I am, I would say, in the second phase of my life, where you hit your 40s. You've done a lot, you've seen a lot, you've experienced a lot, you've made some mistakes, you've made some good moves. And I'm pivoting into what I think is one of my best strengths, which is connecting people and ideas. And it's something that comes naturally to me and something that I want to do more of.
So you're pivoting to connecting people. Previously, before focusing on connecting people, what were you doing?
So I was a normal CA. I did my CA articles in Pretoria, went to the Auditor General of South Africa. From there, did some consulting work. From there, went to the Minister of Finance, which is a whole different podcast. And in 2018, moved to Cape Town, where I again did some consulting work through COVID. And since then have been moving from the normal CA consulting world into building businesses out of people's ideas and connections and helping people connect the dots. When people talk to me or share information or tell me a problem, I think in connections. So I hear someone say, "Oh, I've got this problem," or "This is not working." I'm like, "No, but talk to David, or I'll connect you with Ben, and you guys can have a chat." But doing that more and more and more, and being involved with events and being involved with networking events like the Clara Business Network or the Cape Chamber of Commerce or some other private networking events that I attend, that has opened up a whole new world where people need connections and people are desperate to connect with the right people so that they can get to their own right place faster. And that's what I'm trying to do and put together and get even better at. I always tell people I don't know everything about networking. I haven't written a book. I'm not an expert, but I really believe in the power of networking because it has helped me in my career. And now it's my turn to use my knowledge that I built up over the years, and especially in the last 2 to 3 years, to help business owners, founders, CEOs, professionals connect the dots and help their businesses find the right place and themselves as well.
Sure. I like it, John. Even from when I first met you, I think you've got a very interesting, warm, charismatic personality, but it lends to exactly what you do, right? Which is connecting people. You've got to have an open heart, but at the same time, you've got to be able to have a tolerance for so many different type of people and ideas. And I'm sure you can get lost in the weeds, but you know, I did some digging on the internet and I found out a little bit about you through identifying your first LinkedIn post. Do you know what your first LinkedIn post was?
No idea. I don't even know when I joined LinkedIn. I don't have those stats offhand. Maybe I should.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, but this is not when you first joined. I think this is when you first had the courage to go out and write a post. So this was 4 years ago. So
Okay.
4 years ago, your first post said, "Hi everyone. I'm looking for new roles in the public or private sector and would appreciate your support. Thank you in advance for any connections, advice, or opportunities you can offer. Open to work." Okay. That was that was you looking for support. But then literally your second post was like, if you've lost your job and you've worked together and we've worked together at any time, studied together or crossed paths, I can help. I can connect you. I can write your LinkedIn recommendation. I can endorse you. Need a pick me up conversation? I got you. Love it, love it, love it. So even 3 years ago, like you said, you were the connector, you know. And I would love you to maybe express now, going into what you're doing now, which is connecting people. What does that really look like from a day to day and anything in between?
Awesome. Thanks for the reminder. I remember writing the second post. I don't remember writing the first post. I remember writing the second post because sometimes the best way to help yourself is to help others. And put yourself out there. New clients they want. Do they want to treat their current clients to something? Do they need a better service provider? Whatever it is. And then I say, okay, in my network, I know these people. I can connect the dots, so I can introduce you. Or I say, we need to host an event. We need more eyes on this.
Mhm,
Or why don't you come to an event that I'm already attending and I can introduce you to some
mhm,
people that I know will probably be there. So
mhm,
it's a combination of a couple of different things. And I think that's my strength is that I'm not just saying I only do things one way. This is the only way I work. Take it or leave it. So I work with what you're already doing and determine, okay, what is the best way to leverage your network, leverage my network, or create
mhm,
something new that doesn't exist yet so that we can network or connect the dots. And in terms of payment, people always ask me, what is the revenue side of that? Well, every relationship is different. Every relationship is
mm,
different. So some people pay you on a retainer basis. So you're on retainer and you're going to do X amount of work per month, or you're going to run a certain project for them, or you're going to be part of a project team. Other people is a success fee where, okay, John, we want you on board for this, connect the dots, take this from A to Z. This is the fee for the project. Or it's a normal like hourly
mhm,
consulting rate, or it's a bit of a combination of that, where we're going to do regular monthly work, monthly check-in work, or run a workshop or two, or train staff, coach executives or professionals how to network better, and then kind of hold their hand or introduce them at meetings. Yeah, so every relationship is slightly different. There isn't a one size fits all approach here, but there is a
mhm.
how can we connect the dots better to help the business achieve their goals?
Sure. And I guess, like you said, you had a fortunate maybe aha moment in your career saying, what I do best can actually be sort of monetized. I'm sure you get a lot of passion out of it. But from the time you were working in your career on how you were networking, and I would love you to describe what networking looked like when you were in your career, to how it is evolved now, and also filling your business in between, because you must have been doing some type of networking while you were in your previous career, and then also you're doing networking as a business model now. Like, how do those differ?
Well, I think networking back in the day for me revolved around saving my backside at my job. In my first year of articles, I wasn't the best article clerk. I then did some contract work at the Auditor General and really liked it. And I'm like, this is cool. Then I heard how much money the people got paid, which was double my first year's salary. And I was like, well, that's a better offer. And
Mhm.
the benefits and everything. So I had to network my way into my second job and meet the people, meet the bosses. I say, okay, can I come? Can I start in January? I'll do 1 year here and then I'll move there. And it happened. Did an interview, and on the first day that I started in 2006, this is probably the 3rd or 4th of January 2006, is the day that I met Rudolph. And Rudolph really opened my eyes to networking even further because Rudolph is such a nice guy. He's a much nicer guy than me,
Mhm.
by the way. And he's,
Really?
he's now my podcast partner. I mean, 18 years later, we've got a podcast together. Um, we kind of grew up together in the corporate world as
Yeah.
young budding CAs. But Rudolph knew everybody. Rudolph opened doors for me because I knew Rudolph and we got on well and we became friends. We were like cool by association. So I could hang out with Rudolph and meet some of his connections and vice versa. And in the
Mhm.
story that I also like to tell about the past in terms of networking is on that first day sitting in the office at the Auditor General, the big boss at the time, Alice Miller, who's still there, I think, she talked about international audit. And I'm like, international audit? That sounds interesting. What's that about? And she said, the Auditor General of South Africa was one of the auditors of the United Nations. And because
Mhm.
the United Nations is so big, they need 3 different countries' auditors to audit it, and it's a biannual audit. And she said, well, they go to New York and they go to Copenhagen and they go all over Africa. Wherever the UN is, the auditors go. And I'm like, flip, that sounds incredible. I want to do that. How do I do that?
Mm.
And that planted a seed for me to like, I had never been overseas before. I'd had to pay for my own studies. I never had money to go overseas or anything. I'm like, well, if the work will take me overseas, where do I sign up?
Why not?
And had to go then and meet the international audit teams people and met their managers and found out what the T's and C's were and everything. And about, you know, 12 months, 14 months later, I was on a plane to the Middle East on my first international audit. So I had to network my way onto another audit team to go overseas for the first time. But back then
Yeah.
it didn't feel like networking because I think networking was
Okay.
all about sales and you attend a meeting and you throw your business cards at people and that's how networking was. So my perception then was, well, if you don't know the right people, it's just tough luck. And you're just not born with the right credentials or went to the right high school or something like that. But as I went through my career, I learned, well, I can network my way up. I can introduce myself to the right people. I can put myself in the right environments where I can change my life fortunes around because of how I network and how I approach networking. So that has
Mm,
developed over
mm.
time. Like you said earlier, networking isn't taught at schools, but
Yeah.
going to the right school already gives you or you could say the right network because I went to this
Yes.
prestigious school. I'm an old boy of the school. I'm part of the alumni. Doors are just going to fly open for me. If you don't do that, you kind of have to make stuff happen by yourself. You have to network. You have to connect with the right people. So that journey of mine has changed.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you define, if you can think back to maybe even your high school days or when you're getting into university, how did you define networking? And what did you think of it like at that stage?
I,
Like, what did
I
you
don't
think of
even
it like? Yeah.
I don't even think it crossed my mind. I don't even think it was just work hard, do your best, see what happens. Maybe the right door opens for you, but there wasn't a drive to do that myself. It was, okay, you got to work hard, got to get good marks, got to apply for positions all over the place. Which is kind of what I did as a CA. Applied to all the big four audit firms, had one or two minor interviews, never got further than that. And then my first job came because um, one of the CAs at our church, Trevor Albertine,
Mm-hmm.
he I would say took pity on me and said, But John, come and work at our firm." So because I knew him and we played golf together, he knew I was studying CA, he knew what I was up to, he knew the type of person I was. And so he got me in as my first job. I would never have applied there. I don't think they would have ever taken me. It was an
Mm.
Afrikaans firm. I was an English guy. And that's kind of why the fit wasn't 100%, but it still got me into the door and the job, which then led to me doing contract work with Auditor General and that whole story, which I've just shared. So it only became, I think, a real thing much later in life. You don't really think of networking when you're younger. I think you kind of wing it and everything's fine, and I've got all the time in the world, and I can do whatever I want. But
Yeah.
I think that narrative almost needs to change nowadays.
And then if you had to then fast forward to where you are now, could you give networking a definition in your own
I,
words?
I think my definition of networking is making yourself visible to the people that matter to show that you are a useful person to know. Because
Mm.
oftentimes, and this is like the sub definition, people consider networking only about sales. I
Mm.
only want to network so I can increase my sales, increase my revenue. And I think you're missing half of network. Half of networking for me is learning from other people, hearing what they're talking about, picking up on new ideas, new thoughts, and meeting new people that maybe eventually down the line could be a customer or client. But if you're just networking for sales, I think you're missing out on so much. So I think it's really elevating yourself as Daniel Priestley says, a key person of influence in your network to the key people that you want to know you, and then but being useful, not just it's
Mm.
all about me. It's like, look at me, but look at what I can do for you. Look, I'm a useful person. I'm a nice person. I can open doors for you. I can connect you with people in my network. Um, so I need to go and craft that into a much shorter definition for you.
No, and I love that the fact that you hopped on around a pretty succinct definition, and then you went into a sub definition, because there were a few things that came to mind where I would love to talk about the misconceptions, right? It's so interesting because I'm in sales, I'm in marketing, I'm in business. Networking, I think over the last 5-10 years has been like, yo, if you're not networking, you're not doing business, right? Even like business events are called networking events. But outside of business, in the sciences, in the arts, in the other professions, networking is not as seen as valuable. And I could be speaking out of turn, but I believe so. You know, my dad was a meteorologist. He never really spoke about, oh, I'm going to networking events. He said, I'm going to seminars or I'm going to, conferences.
Mm,
I believe they naturally networked, but I think there was a lot of people in those rooms who didn't take hold of understanding. Wait, the audit general is here, the president is here. We don't just come and listen to the COP 25 agenda around um, global warming. You you also go and network, right? Um, so, what are some of the misconceptions you've can come up with
well,
around networking?
I think the biggest misconception, like I mentioned, is that it's all about sales.
Mm.
So like I mentioned, it's also about knowledge. It's also about listening at these events, showing up where your ideal customer might be and seeing who they're talking to. Showing up at an event where maybe your competitors are the big sponsor. Go and check it out. See what's happening. Talk to those people at those events. So it's not just about sales, it's about information gathering as well.
Mm.
I think the other misconception is that there's going to be instant results. I'm going to show up at an event, whatever it is, the conference, a seminar. I've got 10 business cards. Let's work on a 10% success rate. I'm going to get one client. Again, that's not how it works. You can't necessarily sell your business or your products or your services at your first meeting. What you should rather be doing is introducing yourself and listening to what the other people are talking about. And like, hey, that guy mentioned something interesting. I want his business card so I can follow up with him. I'm not going to just throw myself at them. Um, Another misconception is that I can do it once a year. I can go to one industry event a year. I can show up at a couple of networking events a year, and that's my networking done. No, absolutely not. Consistency is the leverage in networking. Continuously showing up, seeing a person's face, seeing them hang out, seeing them add value. That's where you can build the relationship. So remember, you and I meet at a networking event. We just have a connection. We don't necessarily have a relationship yet. We don't have any rapport. We don't know anything about our personal lives or anything like that. So then it becomes difficult to phone that same person up 8 months later. Hey, Jason, I met you there. Cool. Let's set up a Zoom. Let's do this. I want to show you that. It's like, what are you even doing? But if I've seen you every month for 8 months and we've chatted in between and everything, and I eventually say, hey, Jason, I want to show you something. Hey, Jason, hey, you mentioned this problem the other day. I know a guy who can maybe help you. Want to have a chat? That's where those golden moments come, where the networking pays off handsomely.
Mm. Connection on the one side and relationship on that side. I think networking is what bring them together. What would you say is some of the building blocks or strategy that someone could use to firstly establish good connection and then, which is the end goal in mind, build towards relationship? Because I like what you said there. It's like, I might have met Jason at a networking event, but all we have is connection. We don't have a relationship. I think that is so key because relationships are fragile. They're valuable. They need consistency. They need value showing up. A lot of people feel like if I go into a networking event, I'm going to go build relationships. No, I think it's you go build connections. From there, it develops into relationships. So, what are some of those building blocks for connection and leading into good relationships?
I think the important thing to remember about a connection is, and this is an old quote, I can't remember who said this, is be more
Mm.
interested than interesting. Listen to the other person. They are giving you a ton of information about themselves, how they present themselves, how they talk about their business, their problems, all that type of stuff. Stop trying to sell to someone and listen to what they're talking about. Give them the floor. Just listen. They're talking about this, that, and the other. Well, they've got this issue, this marketing issue, this product, this thing. Like, okay, that's all useful information. That then colors in your view of who this person actually is. Because then I'm ticking off, okay, this isn't maybe a client. They're never going to buy anything from me. But they're a very useful person to know because they know this person, or they mentioned this thing, or they're going on holiday here, or they go into the UK soon, or whatever the case may be. So they've given you a ton of information that you can use to your advantage further down the line. So number one is listen. That's definitely a big building block. Don't talk and talk and talk, and you know nothing about the other person. So definitely listen. And then I think
Yeah.
in terms of building the relationship, remember that both parties are equally responsible for the relationship. So if you want to build a relationship with someone, you can't put all of the responsibility on the other person. Expect, okay, they're going to email me, they're going to call me, they're going to invite me to events. That's cool. They're running the show. That relationship is doomed to fail. If it's a key person that you want to build this relationship with, well, you take the lead. You invite them. You send an email. You send a voice note. You like their stuff on like and comment. on their stuff on LinkedIn, to keep that relationship warm, to show that, hey man, I see what you're doing. This is cool. Taking notice. This relationship means something to me. And over time that builds up. Um,
Mm.
but over time, I think is the key. And that's very important that people understand that it's not just going to go from zero to hero necessarily in a couple of weeks. It might take a couple of months, a couple of visits, because people are busy. People got their own lives. People have already got established relationships. You're not necessarily going to become instant best friends and all the doors are going to fly open and opportunities are going to fall from the sky. So understand the time invested, um, getting to know the other person, because they're getting to know you as well. So what are you showing them? Are you showing them the right stuff?
Mm.
And
Mm.
maybe further down the line, you're going to pick up some, okay, I've invested 2 months here. I saw this. I don't like that. I'm not too sure. You can change your mind. It's fine. It's 100, that's 100.
100%.
We're all adults in the room here. But if it's a worthwhile person, then keep that going. Be the one to keep that going. And if they're not reciprocating, then check in with them. Hey, buddy, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
You a bit quiet,
Yeah.
or is it busy? Can I help with anything? Can I add value to you? What's going on? If it's
Yeah.
dead quiet, well, then they're kind of signaling maybe they're not interested, or people have changed as well over time, or their situation has changed. Don't take offense.
Yeah.
Move on. Check in on your other relationships.
Yeah. And there's such a interesting buzzword, but it is a valuable word, and excuse the pun, add value, right? I think everybody's like, yo, can you add value? Oh, value post, value driven marketing, So, but with that in mind, you mentioned be interested versus being interesting, where I think we need to put a little bit of a bullet point in that, right? Because I think there is value in being interesting. Why? Because what you read, who you listen to, what you watch, what you do in your free time, I think actually makes for a better conversation, because there's so much listening you can do. But if you cannot add to the conversation where John is talking about, um, I don't know, American politics, or he's talking about South African comedy, and he then segues into riding bikes and sports. You can listen to all these things, and he's given you opportunity to be like, oh, I do sports, or I like um, American politics, or I like comedy, and you're just silent. You're like, oh, cool, that's cool, John. Now that guy's just gonna be like, or that girl's just gonna be like, okay, you're a great listener, but you didn't add to the conversation. So I think there's an interesting tangle between being interesting and interested, but I think, like you say, it comes by listening, right? So
Mm.
you can be the most interesting person, and you could be very interested in yourself, but if you're talking about yourself too much and not listening, it's the whole tangle is not going to gel, right? So I just wanted to hop on that one, because I do get where you're coming from, but I think especially for my, let's say, my generation, right? There's this lack of actually reading and being, they call it self-development, right? But I think they should coin self-development as, just become, excuse my French, fucking interesting, because the more interesting you are to individuals like you who have the network, you're gonna be like, hey dude, I met this guy, like he's a youngster, he still needs a bit of like edging, but damn was he interesting, right? Yeah. So I think that's just something important there. But now leading on to, of course, now I'm interested in John. I've probably, my tactic is send John, like, listen to what John speaks about, and then just be like, John, I was listening to a podcast, and I'd love to send it to you, because now it's a segue. Can I get your number? But it's like, I wanted, you queue it up for later. Oh yeah, John, can I get your number? Yeah. The pod. Now it's easy. It's easy to get that person's number, because now we're building a relationship off the podcast, not off buying my stuff. My strategy is that. What would you say is a great way to after listening and being interested, trying to sustain that relationship and build a cadence around keeping in touch. Because, geez, I think for me, that's such a tough thing. Go to a networking event and then not be able to stay in touch.
Mm.
How do you build that cadence? Like getting the number and then like trying to stay in touch.
I think that trying to stay in touch is difficult, but it comes down. You need to manage it in a way that you're going to keep tabs on people to know when you need to show up, and you might need to show up
Mm.
virtually on LinkedIn or via WhatsApp, or send an email, or set yourself a couple of reminders. But then what I tell people is, if someone is important to you and that relationship is important to you, showing up for them at an important event for them, they will remember that. So let's say, Jason, you're having a big launch, and it's a big thing under high pressure and everything. I can send you a quick WhatsApp, Jason, all the best, man. And then I show up on the day. Hey, Jason, high five, man. This was such an epic event. And I'm just there to support you as a friend, as a key person in my network. And and you're gonna remember that. You go, "Yeah, I can't believe John showed up. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. I've been off the radar for 2 months. We've been prepping for this. This has been important to me. John showed up." And that carries so much weight. So you don't have to check in with them every single day. You don't have to check in, attend every single event. It's impossible. But if something big is going down, or they're gonna be, or they are on the podcast, "Hey, Jason, I saw you on the podcast. Excellent, man. I shared it with my network, and whatever, something like that. Or I promoted it at another event I was at." That is so cool. That is where you've taken a little bit of action and a lot of thought, and that carries a lot of weight. Not just saying, "Hey, Jason, excellent, man. Cool. Oh, I saw it on Facebook." Okay, thanks, man.
Yeah.
5,000 other people also like that post. So I think
Yes.
understanding what's important, and like and then remember, going to someone else's event or buying their stuff or liking their stuff, that requires a little bit of effort. And it's that effort that kind of pulls you closer together to form a stronger relationship. That I've made effort for you.
Mm.
Maybe one day when I'm doing something big, you're going to make effort for me. You're going to show up for me. You're going to give me a high five on the stage, or when I'm walking off or whatever. That carries weight. And then also, you're in the room with these other people. You can meet other people, because if it's a big event, there's other big people to meet. There's other big people to see. You never know who you're going to meet. So it's not just about the person. It's also about, well, I'm at this event. I wouldn't normally go here, but because Jason is there, I want to make an effort. And, oh, flip, I met this other guy, Ben, and here's David, and here's Susan. And wow, that was really cool. That was unexpected. So it's that those little things, those little moments that you can create. And again, this is not, you're not doing this with 100 people. There's maybe 10, max 20 key people in your network that you're going to show up for. And
Mm.
hopefully you've also got 10 or 20 key people that will show up for you when you're doing something big as well.
There's an impact versus frequency ratio that you're working on. There's a difference in an impactful interaction with the person you feel you want to network with versus the frequency ratio. And I think when you're lazy and you don't know what you're doing, you lean towards the frequency, and it becomes annoying because you might be a super interesting person, but all you do is follow up with like, "Hey, John, hope you're doing well. I saw your your LinkedIn posts are doing well." Like, that very, if you want to call it, surface level engagement versus you could maybe just reach out to John once a month, but you know that he's got Clara business events. You rock up there, you buy John wine at his own event. And he's like, "What? Who is this guy, bro?" And then all of a sudden, what's also interesting is in our networks, we have cross pollination of people. So, like, like dating. So I'll rock up at your event, but then you can see me having fun with people you know. And then John's like, "What? How is Jason know Nick?" And now there's this like this connection, which I think is beautiful. Like I think humans are just like that. It's like it's a beautiful envy, or it's a beautiful curiosity. And that's also to your point where like you might be meeting Susan and John, but you might meet Tracy who works at your workspace. And you're like, you also know John. Then it's all over now. We have this triangle. John at the top, Tracy and I. And like we know John, and like John's the guy. Right. And I love that about networking. So and I can definitely believe you should write a book on the ratio of impact versus frequency, like impact and like because I think there's so much to that, little mini book hand guide on impact versus frequency networking 101.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
Written
And
by John.
I love that. I'm gonna steal that idea, and I'm gonna 100% concur with you. I've seen. I mean, we've had different interactions at different events. I mean, even the Mike Hancock Business Global Mastery event, that was spectacular. I mean, you posted about it. I saw your post before I saw, I think, Mike Hancock's post. And like, Jason's talking here. I've got nothing on this day. I'm going to go. Your talk about LinkedIn was excellent. It was very entertaining. I mean, there were a lot of LinkedIn haters there, which was quite something for you to
Yeah,
have.
it's interesting, right?
But there were other people there that I'd met at other events, and now for the first time, I had a we could sit down, we could almost have lunch together, we could hang out. I saw you meeting with other people. It was like, this is so cool. This is so cool because it colors in your world of who's connected to who do people know, what do they know about each other, how long have they known each other, all that type, and that's fascinating. That's fascinating, but that only happens when you take a bit of a risk. Like, oh, it's so easy to turn down stuff. No, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go. I don't know anyone there. How do you know that? How can you prejudge an event or prejudge the success or something without even trying it? You like once bitten, twice shy, that whole thing. But you've got to take some chances, I think, and just put yourself out there slightly to see what the possibilities are, and you'll be surprised.
I'm not a natural networker, John. Like I don't know, like I'm shy. I I've been bitten 3 times. It's a waste of time. What do you say to those individuals, right? What do you say to those individuals?
I say, what is your mindset when you go to a networking event? Are you all about, okay, how long is this going to take? I don't want to sit next to that person. That guy's too loud. The food is terrible. It's too loud. Why isn't the aircon working? Or are you just there to meet people, have one conversation? We go through this very negative checklist sometimes when we actually should be saying, okay, I'm here. I'm happy. I'm smiling. I'm going to leave all my problems in the car. I'm now here in this room. I'm going to talk to the first person that looks my way. To say, hey, what you doing here? What do you do? What's your name? How's it going? Have you been here before? So I think a lot of times the mindset limits you so much because I'm like, oh, flip, I really wanted to watch that movie, or I had a big fight at work. So we bring all this stuff, this rubbish to a networking event, and then it doesn't work, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, I knew it was going to be a waste of time. I knew it was going to be a waste of time. Like, well, what did you expect? You expected it to be a waste of time. You made no effort for it not to be a waste of time. You got there late. You left early. So we shoot ourselves in the foot, and the whole time. But other people with less talent and a worse product or a worse service than you are killing it in networking because of their attitude, because of their mindset, because of how they show up, because of how they conduct
Yeah.
themselves at a networking event. And you're like, this guy's stealing my clients. I'm like, dude, he's playing the game. You're hating the game. He's playing the game. It's a game. Networking is a game. It's a game. There's no halftime. There's no you're going to get a red card for how you show up. So learn from your mistakes. I mean, one of the talks that I give is called "The Opposite of Networking is Not Working," where I talk about all of
Ooh.
opposites that people do, all of these small little stupid things that we bring either to networking events or to our attitude or how we approach networking or what's in it for me. And this really, really irks me the whole time. I'm like, dude, can you not see the value in this? No, because you've got
Yes.
this mental block, this mental block. I hate this, it's a waste of time. They don't pay me to do this. I'm like, once you get it right, they're gonna be paying you double probably because you're gonna
Yeah.
be making
Yeah.
more sales, more clients, meeting the right people.
Mm. Because I think a lot of people think networking is for extroverts, which I think is nonsense. Because I've met so many different type of people in the rooms. Imagine, and again, that's also if you believe in extroverts and introverts, right? But even if that is the case, I've met so many different people. It's not like they just put all these extroverts in a room and we're doing business together. That is like it's impossible. So I like what you say. Like, start with your mindset, and that's also probably a chapter in the book. Start with your mindset. But the fact that this thing's a game, right? And I do believe it's a game. If it's a football game, imagine they say, oh, football's for all right footed people. Nonsense. Like left footed people there, ambidextrous people, some people even without feet are playing football. Right? This game has changed, right? Because we've been talking about networking as a physical event, technology, and we have to hop on this one. AI, social media. We could probably go on and on about how it's affected networking. But in your opinion, going into 2025, what is the biggest opportunity that is emerging with technology? And if that tech is AI, but doesn't have to be, when it comes to networking, what do you see? What are you seeing in your world and your arena in this game of networking?
I think there's maybe 2 or 3 things that I'm seeing. I think the first thing that I'm
Mm,
seeing, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, is in a world that is obsessed with connecting digitally and likes and follows and subscribers and everything like that, that world
mm,
is very overwhelming. And I think one of the safest spaces to connect is in person. To
okay.
let's take this offline, let's meet in a room, super old school, have a glass of wine, have a chat, because the digital world has become a burden. So let's meet in person.
Mhm,
And I think there's a lot of people that feel that way and like, well, guys, you're feeling that way because you're only plugged in. You're only connected digitally. You've got your WhatsApp open, your LinkedIn open, you've got 4 different screens, you're multitasking, going absolutely bananas. When last did you have a one-on-one conversation with a person face to face? And again, this isn't an extroverts or introverts thing. It's just like, when last did you just have a normal conversation? And we yearn for those normal conversations, I think. So the
mm,
digital madness that we're experiencing in ChatGPT and AI and everything, I think has made the experience of connecting in person a lot more about the experience and a lot more about, oh, this is so lekker. I can just talk. I can just sit here on a bench or sit here at a table, chair, have a normal conversation like we did when we were in school, in varsity or whatever. And that's refreshing. I think
mm,
the other side is maybe the flip side is that there's so much, and you've probably seen this even more than me on the LinkedIn space, with curated posts written by ChatGPT, comments written by ChatGPT, so generic, so like recycled, nothing new, no nuance, no human touch. That if you are going to be communicating to your network, make it your own words. Yeah, maybe ChatGPT gives you 5 bullet points, but then write the stuff yourself, please.
mm.
We know what you sound like. You're not as fancy. That tone that
Exactly.
ChatGPT shows is not your tone. We know you. We know who you're talking to.
Where it goes like
Um,
says like, let me tell you why. Like
yeah.
like it's just like he talks like that.
No one talks like that. No one talks like that. So I think there's
Yeah.
opportunity there to be genuine and to write
Yes.
genuine things and create genuine content and articles that people are, hey man, I
Mm,
like this. This is cool. This is cool. This isn't ChatGPT. This isn't another checklist or um, bashed out thought leadership article. that comes out of AI, the AI archives, as I like to say. And I think there's another opportunity as well to, um, before this podcast, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, The Expansive, with John
Okay.
Sonnet and Eric Kruger. Um, and John Sonnet was saying people are so overwhelmed because there is no certainty anymore. There's no
Mm,
certainty. You don't know if you're going to have a job next year. You don't know if your company is going to be around. You don't know anything about anything. AI, this, that, and the other, politics, all that type of stuff. So I think there's opportunity then to say in your industry or in your company, say, guys, hey, we don't have everything figured out. Let's get someone in to help us figure something out. There are incredible speakers and people that I'm connected to, and you probably know a lot of them that are now helping companies figure out stuff and
mm-hmm,
putting them in a room, talking through, hey, this technology is disruptive. Okay, how does that impact our company? What are what are the
mm,
opportunities? What are the challenges? What should we be focused on? What should we be worried about? So instead of being overwhelmed, consult your network. You say, hey guys, I'm struggling with this. We don't know this, and people come to help because everyone is struggling with that same thing. So
yes.
as isolated as you might be feeling, I think everyone's kind of feeling the same or has felt the same.
Yeah.
So you can use the technology that you're connected to. Say, hey guys, we're struggling with this. Can someone help us? And I think those are the opportunities that you can use your network and the technology to your advantage to help your company.
Such an interesting answer. Again, you know why I find it interesting is because I thought you were going to go down the route of like tech can enable better interactions and all. You saw the increased sort of burden tech puts on networking as the opportunity for more genuine connection in person. What a way to flip the script. Because I'm like, what is this guy going on about? Like, like I asked you if the tech is gonna. What's the opportunity? Where's the tech opportunity? And you're like, no, no, no. The opportunity is more genuine in person. Oh, John, hilarious. That hilarious, right? But talking about tech, and I want to go down that route. And thank you so much for that answer. So genuine, like so genuine, and that is an opportunity in itself, right? Typical CA looking behind how we can, cook the books. I'm joking. Basically, with I see what we've done with like the Lekker Network. It's a combination of available tech and the idea of a united relationship that we technically all have. And I'd love maybe, I am a Lekker Network member, and I'd love from your point of view, could you maybe express in what I'm saying that has happened for the Lekker Network, right? Because I do believe tech and the idea of a united relationship is what we harnessed to make networking more intentional versus and impactful versus transactional.
Sure. What I see with the Lekker network is definitely filling a void where South Africans have left the country for whatever reason. People have come and gone. Some have come back already. Some have left, but they are still South African at heart. They still are Lekker people. They are doing Lekker things. They are changing the world right where they are, and they have something that is needed by the rest of the world. And what Nick and Rainier and the other founders and yourself and the FTC team have created this vessel where people can now connect internationally and talk to other South Africans around the world. And I've been sending DMs on the Lekker Network list, and it's so lekker to talk to people overseas. I would never have connected with these people. I wouldn't even have known they existed. And now because we're part of the Lekker Network, now immediately got something in common. We are South African. I don't have to be overly formal and say, if it shall please you, shall you look at my DM at the right time and maybe give me some consideration? I'm getting 100% replies because people are desperate to connect. And in this time where people are desperate to connect, we
Yes.
just connect with people that are on our page. And I think we should be thinking not just, can I sell my products in Cape Town? It's like, can I sell my products to South Africans living in Utah? Can I sell my products to South Africans in Perth? And because of our work ethic and how good we are and the crazy cool ideas that we come up with, we are in good positions to help each other out and connect the dots. And I really think there's a flavor of, and not a flavor, a foundation of let's help.
Mm.
And I think that's been the foundation from the start. This isn't about, okay, everyone gets a chance to blow their own trumpet and sell their stuff. It's not really like that. I mean, if you see the interactions on the group, it's about, hey man, I've got this problem. Can you help me? Or I'm doing this, or I'm going to be here. Let's meet up. That is so, so, so cool. And it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
This is going to blow up. I told you, like, and I mean, Mark Sham posted about it today as well. Such a beautiful summary about it. I'm like, dude, this is so cool. And it's cool people that are
Yeah.
excited about this. And I've connected with these
Yeah.
cool people. It's mind blowing. It's like the most exciting thing I think to happen in the networking space in South Africa. It's gonna absolutely blow up. We're gonna be 20 years time. You'll be like, oh man, do you remember when you started the Lekker Network? So crazy, and like look where we are now, and we've all
Yeah.
slumming it on each other's yachts in Monaco. Such because of the
I agree with you. Like anybody listening, go check out the lekkerNetwork.co.za. It's a beautiful, beautiful story in the making. Honestly, grab your page to be part of this story because anybody can come and write a beautiful South African Lekker story. John and I are busy writing our chapters. John, I know you're going to be the MC at our launch in March, which I think is just the guy. Like you are gonna be on stage in front of everybody. You gotta set the tone, John. Like this is you are writing the first you the Genesis. You John the Genesis. Like this is the Genesis. Like um but yes, anybody I couldn't top it anymore. Like go check out Lekker Network. Even if you're not South African, if you feel like you want to learn a little bit more about that, if you're pro South Africa, you can join. Honestly, would love you there. But John, we are coming to a close of this beautiful conversation, and I can't believe you left on your radio voice the whole time. Like, goodness, John, you're a bad man. You're a bad man. But John, have I not asked you a question? Right? Is there a question I should have asked you and I just haven't?
what would I have done differently 20 years ago, maybe?
Hmm. Okay. So John at 20. Let me phrase it this way. What are the key lessons you've learned now that you would tell John at 20 so that he would, yes, experience life like he did, but almost move with a different jive, right? Because I don't think you should discount or be regretful of anything because look of where you are now. But what advice would you give John, given the fact that you have high insight on experience now?
I think there's two bits of advice that I would give. And the first one is you're going to figure it out. I'm a big fan of Gary Vee, and he says some of the most interesting people he's ever met in his life are in their mid 40s and are only now figuring life out. They've made mistakes, they've been in startups, failed this, that, and the other. And now they have figured out, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. At 21, your brain isn't capable of figuring everything out. And it's impossible to have 100% certainty. So I would say, hey, dude, just chill. Just 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 take it as it comes, go for the opportunities, say yes more often than no, especially in your 20s, man. You should be just going for stuff. You have your 30s and your 40s to make money and figure stuff out. In your 20s, just go crazy. Just, yes, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's take a gap year. Let's do this. Let's go overseas. Let's take up. I mean, you yourself, you went to Barcelona. I mean, that also changed your entire life as well. You could have said no to, I don't know, the language. Da, 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 da. You didn't. You said instant yes, I think. So I think
100%.
that opportunities, say yes. And then I also think take care of your network as far as you can. You're going to build up some relationships, you're going to make enemies, you're going to lose friends, but those key people, like, keep them close, hold on to them, support them, be happy for them. And I think the be happy for people is something that we don't do enough of. We are so jealous. Oh, flip
Mhm.
guy, he's got his second yacht, or like his business listed on the New York Stock Exchange or something. Be happy for those people, man. Happiness is a wheel that turns in your favor only if you are being happy for other people. Only if you are contributing to that happiness by being genuinely happy for others. Because it's going to turn in your favor, and then you can ride the train all the way to Disneyland.
It's not what people don't remember what you do, it's how you made them feel. So if you can make that person feel your genuine happiness for their achievements, they're going to remember that. Right. And I love that. That is so good. Ben Horowitz speaks of the wartime CEO and the peacetime CEO.
Mhm.
But I'm spinning that theory with like the CEOs who are really good during thriving times and the CEOs who are really good during peaceful times. Because actually, during peaceful time is the most dangerous time. Right? You think because that's when the attack could come. But the same analogy is how you lead yourself with people and the relationships that are important to you is that showing up when John is thriving is it's actually hard because envy is a real thing, jealousy is a real thing, but genuinely being like walking onto John's boat, taking your shoes off, smiling at John, being like, "You're my guy." You're doing the things without any envy takes real character, takes
Mhm.
character. And that is a solid punchline. Being
100%.
joyful for those who in your network or who matter most to you is a networking strategy. Whew, I love it, John. I love it.
100%.
I've got a finishing game, John, and
Yes.
it's a fun one where it's an either or. It's a quiz. It's you've got 6 categories, and you've either red or yellow. It's either green or blue, but it's different categories. And John, you're a smart, witty, and quite good-looking guy. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Most my gets get 1 minute, but I think we're going to see how we can get this done in 30 seconds, right? Are you ready, John? Do you understand the game?
I was a unofficial 30 seconds champion back in the day, so let's go.
Oh, really? Let's go. Okay. We're going to start in the next 15 seconds. Let's stretch. Let's stretch. We're ready, John. Come on, man. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Food, sweet or savory?
Both.
Can't do both.
Sweet. Sweet.
Okay, travel, beach vacation or mountain adventure?
Beach.
Relationship, spontaneous date or planned getaway?
Spontaneous.
Fitness, morning workout or evening run? John, 5 seconds.
Morning, morning, morning.
Mindset, meditation or journaling? Oh, shit.
Meditation.
Learning, podcasts or books?
Podcasts.
Oh, woof. Okay, I won't lie, John. You actually got 35 seconds. Not bad,
Not bad,
but
not bad.
not bad. You don't know the rules. 30 seconds, you can't choose both. Come on, John. How can you say that? No,
I
John, that
I
was
told
good.
my wife, Look, I've got a wide palate. I was a waiter. I eat anything under the sun. So I've got a sweet tooth, a savory tooth, a salty tooth, a an oyster tooth, a champagne tooth. I've got all of those.
Oh, fair, fair, fair. John, thank you so much for this conversation. I can't harp how much I value you, what you're actually doing as a professional. Like, it's so unimaginable, and like it excites me. I would like one day want to see what it is, just to add value to people's lives, but at the same time, earn money from it, and living from it. So interesting. I would love to learn more about the model. But in closing, please let us know if there's any closing words, any wisdom that you have for our listeners, and also let our listeners know where they can find you best. Please do, John.
My closing words is taken from another John, John Sonnet, and is you're only one conversation away from changing your trajectory. So put yourself in positions to have those conversations. And yeah, the best place to find me is on LinkedIn. If you want to know what John is thinking, he probably wrote about it on LinkedIn. I try and post useful stuff, thought provoking stuff, and yeah, check that out. And then the Right Place podcast as well drops every Tuesday. Myself and Rudolph talking and also interviewing guests about how they found their right place and helping business owners, founders, CEOs find their right place as well. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, John. And I will again harp on John being useful, being very accessible. He's an awesome man. He's actually 6'2". So if you're short like me, don't be shy. He's also a great individual. Thanks, John. Have a beautiful day and appreciate you. Thanks.
Thanks, Jason. Likewise. Cheers, man.